when it comes to children, we usually want what's best for them, especially when how I view them in good light. You see them as innocent. At least that's what you hope for. In Takopi's original sin, where you see parents are not exactly in that same mindset. You see that some of them simply neglect, some turn a blind eye in certain events, or sometimes even worse. In fact, worse, abuse. Anyone that starts this anime, just a fair warning, I don't even think I could recommend this to everyone if you're not in the right headspace. But if you're someone that simply has this like strong, like someone that can really find a way to find some hope in darkness, or someone that's just emotionally strong, and just remembering that there's at least some goodness in the world. This is something that I think that you can handle and something that you can probably watch. And if know if you've seen this anime or at least seen this picture before, you'll know you don't know what I mean, or at least heard of it. Anyway, just want to talk about this anime and wanted to give a description of what it's about without spoiling anything, and as well as like my reaction at the end towards like this whole anime because it really is an important series that I found much importance or I guess very meaningful despite all this dark themes. It's definitely very emotionally impactful and something that I think would mean a lot for everyone who's actually watches this. Anyway, without further ado, let's get to it. So here we have Shizuka, who's a student that comes across this alien like thing, and this thing's Takopi. She starts out like feeding it, and it's just because it was like starving, eating garbage. Coming across this series, you see that Shizuka, who is someone who's not in like the most fanciest like clothes, it just you can really see that she's poor, and her living situation where you see her parents are not home, and a little bit besides her happiness with her dog Shappy, you see that she's attending school and seeing like everyone makes fun of her, especially a specific bully, and a lot of the harsh situations where she's like getting harassed and bullied and tormented by like the things that you see with like seeing her desk, where it's like all these scribbles and like obviously this is something that is very visible to everyone. When you're a student, you're a lot of times you want to stay safe and not be involved. And even a teacher, you're like, what are you doing, teacher? Why are you not doing anything about this? But regardless, you see that no one cares about Shizuka. Just going to school, doing just existing and not finding any sort of like I guess purpose. And so here you see Takopi, happy little alien who's really just trying to introduce these happy gadgets like Doraemon, which is a parody of, and just wants to like find a way to get Shizuka happy, like with all these tools, because Takopi is just learning about like how humans interact and what this world is, teaching all these happy gadgets and helping to create some sort of like smile for Shizuka. But here you see Shizuka has no care in the world about these gadgets and just doesn't know what happiness is with all these things. And how could anyone, when you have someone bully you, tormenting you and all this, and this person, Marina, who's someone who's just really treating her like crap and just man, it's so bad. At first I thought it was like just like bullying, like name calling and all that, but no, it gets really fucking dark. It really goes there where it it really it it's terrible. You can see that it's something that I don't think is really hard to watch when you first watch it, is because it really gets physical. And you think like, who the heck? Why would you do this? Like, who is this person that when you're watching doing this to this person that has like no like doesn't do anything to you? But later you learn that there's some sort of involvement, and you see that Marina has some sort of backstory that that you're figuring out as you watch it. You wonder like what makes Marina the way she is, and seeing her home lifestyle, seeing her parents, and even though she's not in the same exact situation like Shizuka, where she has no one home, you see Marina who doesn't have the most supportive mother and a lunatic. In fact, after these physical interactions, we have Azuma-kun, who's another student in the class, wanting to help out. After like seeing all the bad situation things happen, but just at least helping in his own ways, just trying to be there for her, and his own obsession of trying to please someone and trying to be relied on and having some attention. But you learn that he's also not in that happy situation where he's trying to have approval for his mother. Having high expectations, someone who works at in a clinic, mother being a doctor, and just wanting to live up to that reputation and that expectation, trying to have the best scores and all that, and just trying to live up to it. But he has a things that parents do sometimes, which is very toxic, is comparing your kids to another. In this case, it's his own brother, so it's so bad when having that toxic environment of comparison. So despite all this, man, despite like over all this without saying much, it gets really in a dark turn where you see Takopi is doing at its absolute best, trying to support Shizuka and the happiness, and uh like anyone that's in that situation where Shizuka is, you probably don't know if, like, you could see why that she did what she does with having struggles to find happiness. Wishing upon like some sort of gift where or wishing upon like having your father around or having your mom around and just no one caring for her. And so it makes it so heartbreaking to see that for all these children. And honestly, like seeing through Marina, like seeing what she's doing to she's the guy, honestly, you're like you're like no matter what, whatever situation, doesn't she give you the right to treat someone like that? And you get so mind blown when you finish this series because you're like, what? Oh my god, this it all kind of makes sense, but also it's all fucked. It's all fucked. Everything's fucked. Anyway, 6 episodes of an anime, which is really short, but overall it really plays out so well with some of these moments and some of these like dark themes and some moments of happiness when it does apply, especially when it comes to the opening of the anime, because honestly it's kind of cute and it really messes with you with some of these cute moments too, with like the art style and like just like seeing the some sort of goofiness, which is really is cute. You gotta have some sort of lightness to it. It can't be all just dark, except kind of is. The struggle with Takobi just trying to help out Azuma, Shizuka, and as well as Marina too. It just makes it very, very rough, and just because of its innocence and one happy alien who just wants to find a way to support. And it learns to discover that things are not always happy, especially when it's experiencing how human emotions are. And that's one of the experiences that you get to see with Takopi, seeing how it's discovering like these situations and like actually going through it too. It gets so uncomfortable. It's so sad. Like so much bullying, trauma, and neglect, and just again much trauma. Seeing how much time passes too is pretty crazy. It really plays well with the visuals, like the atmosphere where like creating like that silence, and it just feels also heavy, so heavy. Anyway, now I'll tell you much about how I felt about like watching the anime, my reactions, my feelings. So that way, to those that are curious how I felt. And so, without spoiling too much, I'll still save you in case you're still here. For those that don't know much about the anime, it's really captures that uncomfortable feeling, that the ending, especially when learning about how this all happened, like seeing what the title means, like actually means, and seeing how it at least provides some sort of comfort in the end, some sort of bittersweet moments, and some sort of hope. And oh man, like some of the dialogue in this actually, I honestly like when I see these clips or like seeing those moments, I tear up so hard. It really sees that she's the guy actually pouring out what she feels and really saying what she like, knowing, caring about her. And actually, it makes me kind of tear up right now saying that. And seeing this moment too. One, this adult is a scumbag. Worse, even. And two, it just breaks my heart to see that confrontation, letting all her emotions out. And I can't. I could not handle it. I really could not. It was over. It was so over. That like just having no one care about you, no, like just except for like Azuma, being there in his way, but it's more of a selfish reason, and not being there in the end, and or just and not being there at least to her, and just Takumi trying to do everything it can, and apologizing over and over, and I was I was just so sad, man. And Takopi just wanting to like like doesn't know what to do, and the only thing you can do is just be there for her, and it sucks. It really sucks. Eh, it's so sad, and I was like, oh man, it's so sad when you're that friend that wants to be there for someone and don't know what to do. But honestly, the best thing you can do is sometimes just be there and to listen, knowing that you'll go through it together. seeing Takopi wait for Shizuka too, it's really nice, but also really messed up seeing like some of the background too. Some honestly, after watching this, I was like, man, I need some slice of life anime. I need some Eurocab, like Ruri Rocks, or back to reading the manga Ruri Dragon, something. You just can't help but feel compassion for all these children. At times, you're like, okay, they deserve what they did because of I don't know. I mean, or at least you don't feel that um caring at times, but yeah, at the same time, it's just all bad, man. It's just all bad. Seeing how Takubi is doing his best, with tears out of his eyes and experiencing what these characters have gone through. Takubi trying to understand humans, playing some of these scenes really well, especially when you see a scene of Marina too, and the story with like her background and like some of some of her past too with her parents, and it's like, oh, that part. Oh my god, that got me messed up so bad too. All three children having very complex situations and strong emotional moments, and actually gets me very close to sobbing. And it's pretty hard to accomplish that in some anime because these children's their background is just all devastating. Or last moments of the anime, it's like impossible for me to not cry. And I just feel so much for Takopi. The people that did the music and those that did the voice acting, it just truly was a phenomenal experience with really keeping you immersed. But what's really cool and that's something I really appreciate too is Asuma's like conclusion with morality with how people are to helping Takopi understand that too. Seeing how despite all these like devastating events, in the end, it still at least leaves us with some sort of hope. Seeing broken children having a hard time, trying to get it through it together in their own way, at least for what all they know, and because none of their parents are supporting them, it's like you just want them to know that someone cares for them, and if not, at least there's Takopi. I know it sounds crazy, maybe a hot take, but honestly, this is one of my favorite animes, and I think it's probably one of the top 10 for people. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you at least probably give it a try for this anime if you are in the right headspace and just have like want some sort of insight on like how real this can be. But at the end, just know that someone cares about you, and if not, fuck, fuck, then at least there's some hope. There's hope that it gets better when you're an adult. If no one cared for you, at least you can choose to be someone that you wish you had, and maybe in fact be someone that cares for someone else. And sometimes it works out where they end up caring for you as well. Sorry, it sounds like shit advice, but at least I want you to know that you matter. Anyway, that's about it. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.